Well, hey, everybody, welcome back. My name's Ken.
And my name is Richard.
And this is Don't Blame Jesus. Today, we're talking about...
if your church says this or does this,
Run.
I have a lot of time as I'm working, I'm listening to podcasts, and I listen to Cultish. I recommend that one. And I also recommend the William Branham historical research.
Mm-hmm.
We
can put links to those in the description.
Yeah. And the William Branham historical research, I think it's Leaving the Message is the channel on YouTube.
Okay.
So
I'll have you find it and give me the link, and we'll put it in the description.
Yeah, no, it's great stuff. It's great stuff. And so as we look at the churches in America, there's things that come across as being really culty and really not. It's not the gospel, and it's not the view that we see of church when you're going through and looking at the Book of Acts.
Right.
We're seeing we see a heart that's doesn't seem like it's in the right place. We don't see the love for the people.
Yeah.
Looking at the architecture of a bunch of these different things. We're going to go through a list. I don't really have them in any order, but like I said, if you hear any of these, you see any of these things, run. And the reason why I want you to run, is I want you to be able to get to a good church and be able to have like authentic Christianity, not lowest common denominator, watered down, whatever gets the most number of people in the pews.
Churchianity,
yeah. And especially if it's driven by egos at the top, and you're not getting loved and taken care of as you should be by the pastor. Mm-hmm. The job of a pastor is that of a shepherd.
Yeah.
And which reminds me, there's a great book on elders, and pastors are supposed to be elders.
Right.
Okay. And the book's called They Smell Like Sheep. Okay. And the reason why is because they're with them. Yeah. If you have a pastor who doesn't want to be with his congregation, oops.
Yeah.
Oops. Can you imagine Jesus not wanting to be with his disciples? Right? I can't imagine that. Right?
No.
And so
you're like a performer and not a shepherd.
Exactly. You know? And if there's like, hey, I want to be a celebrity pastor.
Yeah.
Right. Want that mic to be up front and whatever, or to be a CEO of a Christian organization, mm-hmm. and try to take advantage of tax laws and stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
Going, this is, I don't have to make widgets. I can just do it this other way. And so again, this is in no order. I was thinking we could get this done in one episode. The answer is no. That's not going to happen. There's just too many pages. There's too many pages and of stuff that I've written, and I'm going. And with these, they're going to have explanation. So we'll have a couple weeks of that, and then we will do maybe one or two on like what authentic church looks like. Because you've been in places where you're like going, like this feels like the real thing.
Yeah.
Right. So all right, we'll jump in with no accountability. If you have, there's certain model, and we're gonna talk about it later, but certain models of how to organize church, mm-hmm. and it's got one guy at the top. There's a lot of churches out there that are non-denominational, and with that makes them even more susceptible to this, because there's no board, there's no district, there's no anything above them. Right. And if they bring on an elder board who they handpick and are yes men, mm-hmm. and set it up where no one is able to challenge them because, they'll say, well, I hear from God and I know more than you do and blah, blah, blah. And, you have to go along with it. If there's no accountability, I fear for that pastor, right? Because we see too many of these celebrity pastors and it seems like, somehow they feel like they're above the law and that, somehow they think that God's blessed them and they can get away with doing all sorts of things that are horrible. And they do violence to the name and cause of Christ by their actions. Just horrible.
Yeah, it's really easy to spin out of control if no one's there to tell you to knock it off.
Yeah, exactly. If you have no one that you allow in your life to love you enough to be able to say, hey,
that stinks what you're doing.
Yeah,
you should
exactly.
Stop it.
Hey, yeah. So, all right. And so there's another part too, that if your ears perk up and you hear the fivefold ministry, do we have the slide for that? Did we come up with something?
Well, we do. We've got, so the first thing we had was the loyalty issue.
Yeah, we'll go back to that. Let's do this other one first because that guy says the fivefold ministry.
Right. We've got
okay.
We got Mike Winger explaining it. Is that
okay?
The one
Yeah.
wanted?
We'll go ahead and do that because it has the passage right there.
Yeah. So this is the passage and the kind of explanation of what the fivefold ministry is.
Some in the charismatic movement take this and talk about something called the fivefold ministry. So here it says, speaking of Jesus, he gave some to be apostles. He gave the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the shepherds, and teachers to equip the saints for the work of ministry, for the building up of the body of Christ, until we all attain to the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, to mature manhood, to the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ. So let me give it to you the way that I hear it used from those who hold to what they call fivefold ministry. They say, there's these 5 groups. They usually say 5, some people say 4. And here they are. They're listed here. Okay, apostles, prophets, evangelists, shepherds, or pastors, and teachers. And these 5 groups are supposed to equip the church, and there's an until we all attain to this unity of the faith, this maturity, this incredible stature of the fullness of Christ. And then the case goes like this. Look, the church has not yet entered verse 13. We're not yet that strong. We're not yet that unified. We're not yet that mature. We don't have the fullness of the stature of Christ and all that. And so we still need all 5 of these ministry things to function. We need not just pastors, teachers, evangelists. We also need apostles, and we need prophets, modern apostles and modern prophets. I'm going to focus on the apostles part today. And that's how the reasoning works. And I want to say what happens next is they'll then offer long, detailed teachings of what apostles do in the church today and what their role is in the church, because most churches don't have any apostolic role. They have nobody who's called an apostle. And so what they'll do is they'll try to carve out a place in the organizational structure of a church where apostles fit.
Yes.
And
we'll go ahead and stop it there because they want to make themselves apostle.
Yeah, absolutely.
And because hey, that'd be cool. And then everybody has to look up to me because it's apostle. Apostle's number 1 on the list.
Yeah.
Okay. So we talked a little bit about it last time where it seemed like the disciples, their job as far as being apostles, what they did is they went and took the gospel to where it wasn't.
Right.
Okay. And so that was part of it. And they were also, firsthand. Seeing Christ and go and take it.
Yeah.
Okay. So if one wants to do something that's similar to that, as far as what the apostles did, take the gospel where it hasn't gone.
Yeah.
Right. That's what Paul wanted to do. Okay. Usually, Paul talks about the super apostles, and he does that in a facetious way. Is watch out for the super apostles because they're false teachers and they're awful, right? And so you have people who want to raise themselves up to be apostles. Again, they want to be looked up to and to rule over the people.
Yeah.
Which is that's ugly. And also all the money flows up. And they want to be at the top.
Yeah.
So I had heard, because they argue about apostle stuff all the time, and I heard it at a conference. I didn't attend, but at a conference, they said, "Well, whoever in your city has the largest congregation, that pastor is the apostle of that city."
Wow.
Yeah, as if quantity and quality are the same thing.
Right.
Which we obviously know it's not.
Well, I would say generally you would catch more fish with a lie than the truth. I mean, you get more people with itching ears to come to your mega church. Yes. And so, I don't think quantity has anything to do with.
We're gonna talk about authentic.
Yeah.
That'll be really important. So this fivefold ministry, it reminds me of, we have spirit. Yes, we do. We have spirit. No, you don't. So because I'd heard a message on this, and the pastor basically saying, well, the staff were this and you're not. So we want you to give your, basically turn in your tithes and propel our machine. Now I said that in a more vulgar way than it was said, right? But that's,
you decoded what they said.
I decoded it. I mean, that's what it was. I was hearing it loud and clear, but it was said, with rhetorical flourishes, and it made it sound more pretty and more palatable. But that's not what we're supposed to do in the church. It's not like these people get to use their gifts and all the money flows up to them, because everybody has spiritual gifts, right? And so if you go through and you look, like, to experience Christianity to the full, use your gifts. God's given you those gifts. He's given those to you for a purpose, right? Yeah. We'll go to Ephesians 2:10. We are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them. Right. So he's gifted each one of us special for certain good works. Yeah. All right. And it should be, how do we empower the congregation to fulfill their purpose, to be able to use their gifts, to experience God to the full? But all of that can be really dangerous. Yeah. If you're weak and controlling and whatever, and you want to be in the top position, and want to make sure that you are the spotlight. We're going to talk later about the bite model, which comes from Stephen Hassan. There's a book, I think it's called Combating Cult Mind Control. And it's a great book. It's a really great book. And so there's like behavioral modification, and I want to say like information. I don't want to say modification. There's with information that's held.
Management. You manage that.
You want to, the cultic kind of they manage that. I can't remember what the T is. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. And then there's an emotional one. And so, but wanting to control people's behavior and people's words. Yeah. And I have heard, celebrity pastors, when they're confronted, saying things like, well, I don't listen to anybody who's below my station. Right. So unless you're a pastor at a bigger church, you got nothing to say to me.
Wow. So like, I've been so successful that you got to let me do what I want because it's obviously successful and working. Well, no, that's not how it works, dude.
That's not.
You don't get to make the rules just because your version of what you're doing is working. You may be telling lies, building a false.
Absolutely.
Around a false premise.
Absolutely.
That does not make you unaccountable.
Absolutely. Okay. So with that being said, we got the no accountability of the fivefold ministry. Let's go ahead and go back to that one where I think it's at a pastor's conference that's a South African pastor, and you get to hear these. This place would be awful to work at. I love my pastor. I love my job at work. I'm only the custodian, and I help run our Celebrate Recovery ministry. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I love my pastor and his family and the rest of our staff. And I'd say generally we're happy and healthy, and it's a great place. It's a great place to work. I love it. Absolutely love it. So, and I tell them, hey, I love it. I love coming to work and just, clean and do my thing. This would be terrifying. So let's go ahead and look at this.
How do you, and I know this is in different places, different situations, but when would you fire someone?
Disloyalty. Instant.
Okay,
immediate.
now see, a lot of
never
business
to be
leaders,
redeemed. Never.
See, okay, yeah.
Never a second
that's the way.
chance.
Yeah.
Fivefold
okay,
ministry.
now we're getting
Gone.
to it. Okay, say this to me again. Wait a minute. That's brilliant. So when are you going to fire somebody?
Disloyal. It may be somebody, you sit in a conversation and I'm always listening. So somebody, and especially when people's guards are down. So I'll do a lot of fun things with my staff, and I will listen. Let their guard down. So when we have advance, like we don't call a retreat, we go forward. So when
Advance.
we do a leadership advance,
Brilliant.
we will work till late, and I will keep them there specifically till late, 12 o'clock at night, and then just let them talk. And I'm listening. One thing out of place, one thing in a conversation out of place, I know exactly where the person is. So when we see any form of disloyalty, betrayal, they're out. I actually believe every leader should be surrounded by fiercely loyal men and women.
That's right.
That defend them
Listen
with their
to
own lives. I believe it with all my heart.
Yes.
Because for the Church of Jesus to stay strong, the leader has to be protected. And in a ministry like this, I just want to say this. In big platforms like our platform, we have to employ people, and sometimes people come and they're called to the man, they are called to the vision. And I tell people, you call to the man and then to the plan. You call to the man and then the vision. So if you cannot hire a leader once, I'm saying a lot.
That's crazy.
That's
dude.
gross. That is gross. Because
he's condemning himself with his own words.
he is. That's horrible. It's horrible. Paul says, "Follow me as I follow Christ."
Right.
And he's not saying, no, follow me alone. It's like I'm following Christ, right? And the whole thing is it's Christ. That is what Paul says.
Well, yeah, and for him to say that you don't follow the vision,
you follow the
man, and then he gives you the vision. That's like,
that
is so. I've seen it a lot, but it is not good. It's not healthy.
No. It's. And so, the part where he's like listening, like we're doing fun events, and you're like, I can't imagine going to one of his fun events because, like, I know what fun events are.
These are all. I'm on trial.
I'm on trial. Everybody has to. You'd have to walk on eggshells all the time. And like, did you? I think I heard you say something like, "You're gone. You're gone." And so, okay. So another thing to look at. When do we want to throw in?
We do right now. If you hear someone say that,
run.
You know it, man. That was...
Yes. And so I want to say this too, and we can play that part again. If the staff appeared scared, depressed, and you're looking at them long enough and you see that staff's getting fired and disappeared. Like there's a lot of staff firings.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, where'd they go?
Yeah. That is one thing I really, really did not like at my previous experience at different church. People would just simply disappear.
Yeah.
And you never hear from them again. And nobody on staff or in the church would say what happened. Like, what happened? And it was like, if you ask questions, then that's disloyalty.
Right.
And if you talk to anyone else about it, that's gossip, and then you're in trouble both ways.
Exactly. And there's a threat that comes along with that. And I'll say that there was, a whisper campaign when people were fired at a place where I saw where pastor would go, so-and-so's gone, and we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah, I don't like that culture at all. No. I experienced it for many years. And then when I moved to the church I'm at now, if someone goes off staff or whatever, we have a nice gathering. We talk about it. Even if it was less than favorable circumstances, we still thank them for their service. We have a potluck, whatever. We talk, there's no secrets, no like, oh, someone got pushed out and we don't know about it. Yeah. It's like, I appreciate that so much.
Yes.
Now, seeing it, what health looks like, I realize how damaged and diseased what I had experienced before was.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and do the Hybels clip. This one breaks my heart.
Let's see. Not this one.
No, it's that one.
This one.
This one breaks my heart because, and we're going to have to do one about what we do with when our spiritual leaders fall and fail and how to get past that disappointment. I'd actually shared his book with my youth group kids. It was called Rediscovering Church. And, and I had friends who were involved from like early days at Willow Creek, and other friends who went and were staff at Willow Creek or Willow Creek, adjacent churches that had come out of it, and then but there was all this garbage that came out, and like, well, let's just play it.
Okay.
New at 10, it was true. That's the finding of a new report on sexual misconduct accusations against former suburban megachurch pastor Bill Hybels. Willow Creek Community Church commissioned the report by an independent panel to investigate the allegations that led to Hybels' resignation. The report concludes, quote, Bill Hybels verbally and emotionally intimidated both female and male employees. Allegations of sexually inappropriate words and actions by Bill Hybels are credible. The Willow Creek founder stepped down in April of 2018. The report shows allegations started surfacing back in 2014. The report claims Hybels initiated mentoring relationships with female staffers who later accused him of sexual misconduct, and male staffers claimed Hybels verbally abused them during power trips. The independent panel investigating was made up of 4 evangelical leaders from churches across the country. They say they tried to access church emails connected to the scandal, but were not able to recover any. The panel says the church board was not prepared to handle the scandal. They recommend the church pay for counseling for alleged victims and that Hybels seek counseling himself.
Counseling?
Yeah.
Counseling? Seriously?
Yeah, no, he's I'm sure he got away with lots. And so.
Yeah. How about like prosecution? How about like facing the.
Yeah. Ugh, horrible. Yeah. It's disgusting. And so, okay. So when they get set up, these leaders, I was at a pastor's conference. I'll just say it. It's a Calvary Chapel pastor's conference. Okay. And there was a book that was there, about things that I learned from Pastor Chuck. I don't remember who wrote it, but one of them was the Moses model. And at the time I was like, oh, okay. Because, the Moses model appears to be when Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, takes a look and going, oh, man, you're getting worn out, and now you need to assign, men below you who can judge all these different cases and whatever, and basically, take the workload. To me, that doesn't sound horrible. But that's not the way it plays out with the Moses model. It's definitely a pyramid. You got one guy at the top, and especially if there's no accountability. And if it is basically, you can end up with them saying, well, I'm speaking for God. I have the same kind of authority in your life as Moses had, which is just gross. Which is just gross. We're going to see image over substance. Okay, and sometimes we'll just an incredible amount of arrogance, right? We see with Moses after his death. It's possibly Joshua who wrote it, but it's written in the text. I don't want to say what it's the end of Deuteronomy. Moses was the most humble man who ever lived, right? Obviously, Moses didn't write that about himself.
Well, hopefully, I mean, we don't know for sure.
And so maybe the Moses model works if you have someone with that level of humility. If you don't have somebody with that level of humility, look, you're just asking for trouble. You are asking for trouble. And the Moses model, if you see that architecture, you hear the Moses model, or I am Moses to you, again, run. And then there's another one that goes along with that you will hear at places, and it is touch not the Lord's anointed.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh yeah, well you can't because our pastor is like super special and has this special, he has special sauce, all over him and he gets special insight from God. And probably they're going to try to use the, prophetic or, claim stories of healings or whatever, or, hero stories that he's come up with, about himself. And like, no, you can't, you can't question him. You can't, really address him. And so, yeah, that's all super icky.
It seems like that kind of a leadership model would naturally attract sociopaths.
Oh, it is. Yes.
Yes.
And
if it doesn't necessarily attract them, it kind of
and narcissists,
and it kind of develops them into that.
Yes,
based on the the adulation and the
yes, yes, and then they'll also may attract in their inner circle other narcissists.
Yeah,
because
and yes, men.
Yes, it's gross. It's gross. And so with that, there's a book. If you hear that this one's being recommended, run, and it's called The Tale of Three Kings. And yeah, if your church is doing a great big, like everybody's got to go through this study, run.
The Tale of Three Kings, you say?
Yeah.
Run.
Yeah. Because the whole point of the story is with that, look, you got three kings, you got Saul, you got David, and you got Solomon. And look, so you have Saul, who is a terrible king and was trying to kill David. And so when David has an opportunity to kill Saul, he chooses not to.
Right.
But he does cut off the edge of the hem of his garment, and then he apologizes for it later that he shouldn't have done it. And we're all like supposed to go from that story, like, okay, well, whatever horrible thing it is, just, take the abuse from your anointed leader.
Well, and so here's the thing, though. You would go, so David had to respect an abusive leader who was trying to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
That's the leader saying, even if I am as bad as that,
yeah,
which they're not quite that bad, but it gets pretty bad.
No, but
then you have to just tough it out, and if you don't like it, leave.
Yeah, yes, and there's a huge amount that ends up with cover up culture with that. Yeah. So if they say I am Moses to you, again, run. If they say I'm Elijah to you, again, that's a similar one. Like, look, I'm the forerunner for Jesus Christ coming back.
Yeah.
Just as John the Baptist was leading up before Christ, then here I am getting ready for, the second coming. And with that as well, if you hear that, what is the word there? Oh, I am the voice of God for this age or generation.
Yeah.
Okay, that's ick. That's ick. And then run.
Now, do you want to break here?
Yeah, we're gonna break here. We're gonna have to break here.
Okay.
But I think what we've said was was fire and true, and the reason why we're saying this is because we love you. We care about you. And we want you to be able to use your gifts. We want you in the healthiest church possible. We want you giving to the healthiest church possible. Fulfill your purpose, grow with Jesus, experience him. I don't want anybody abused by the church. I don't want that. I don't want that.
The sad reality is that church hurt derails a ton of people from having actual faith.
Yes.
And it's like, I know that there will be judgment for those that cause that, but still, I don't want people to look at these leaders and get disillusioned and think Jesus is like that.
Yeah.
This is not Jesus, okay? This is not his plan. This is not his model.
No.
At all.
So, because
we're going to pause there. We're going to come back next week. Hey, the good news is you can throw some stuff in the comments and let us know what you thought. And if you have any questions or anything, that would be awesome. And as we always say, if you heard us say anything stupid, remember, don't blame Jesus. That was our fault. And we will see you next week.